So as part of a wrongful birth case and in the investigation of it, we're looking at what the obstetrician did during the prenatal course. Was adequate blood work given and timely blood work given? Was the obstetrician seeing mom during regular intervals? Were there regular ultrasounds being done? And all of that information that's accumulated as part of the testing is designed to inform the obstetrician as to the health of the fetus. And any information that is gathered in that the obstetrician may suspect a congenital abnormality or otherwise to the fetus, they have an obligation. They are bound by the standard of care to inform mom and dad by extension of what those potential conditions may be. And it may be a situation where the testing in and of itself informs them as to what might be going on. For example, an ultrasound that doesn't pick up a body part that concerns the physician, they have an obligation to inform the parents of that. But oftentimes, some of the general prenatal testing may not be definitive or necessarily conclusive on a recommendation to the patient, but that would require further testing. So it may require that the obstetrician send mom out for further testing, and in some cases may send mom out for genetic testing, which is very informative and can be very informative tool in the prenatal course to determine whether or not mom will ultimately deliver a viable, healthy child. And Down syndrome is one condition that often comes to mind when we're talking about prenatal investigation and congenital and genetic testing that would determine that type of congenital condition. And if mom and dad are armed with that information, they are the ones that are in the position to make the determination as to whether or not to move forward with or abort a pregnancy. That's their right to do so. And a failure to provide mom and dad with that information and deprive them of the right to make an informed decision about the birth of their child would be the subject of a wrongful birth cause of action. And if the child is ultimately delivered healthy, well then of course there would be no wrongful birth cause of action because somehow the child was delivered healthy. But what ultimately happens in these types of cases, tragically, the child is delivered with Down syndrome or another congenital condition, and looking back at the prenatal course, the obstetrician deviated or departed from accepted standards of medical care and failing to identify the nature of the congenital condition, sending mom out for additional testing, whether it's genetic testing or otherwise, and then ultimately informing mom that she had the risk of delivering a child with a particular congenital condition. And then ultimately, it's mom and dad's decision as to whether or not to go forward with that pregnancy. But the failure to provide them with that information and not give them that opportunity would be the basis for an actionable wrongful birth claim.